welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it would be really fun to do a reading wrap up from the month of February, but also doing kind of what's on my March TBR for this year. So let's get right into it. Alright, so in the month of February I read 12 books, which totaled 4,655 pages. I read 2 physical books and 10 ebooks, all through Kindle Unlimited. I'll make a video in the future about Kindle Unlimited and like the benefits and those sort of things. But to kind of do a reading wrap up, the 2 physical books I read were The Singles Table by Sarah Desai. I loved this book. It was a rom-com, Grumpy Sunshine. It was so funny. I giggled so much to this book. If you are definitely kind of a rom-com person, definitely recommend this book. The second physical book that I read was Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is the 3rd book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. This is focused on the brother Cal. The other 2 books were focused on, the first book was focused on the brother Rowan. The second book was focused on the brother Declan. This is like a second chance romance, friends to lovers. It's a thick book, but it was very good. I loved this series. This was the last book, but if you are wanting a kind of billionaire romance series, definitely recommend. As far as the ebooks that I read, February did have a lot of new releases that I was super excited to read. So Twisted by Emily McIntyre was a really good book as well. It was kind of like a sort of Marriage of Convenience book. It was kind of a retelling of Aladdin a little bit. It was super good. It is a bit spicy, so if you're not into spicy books, wouldn't recommend it. The second book that I read that was a new release was Hail Mary by Candy Steiner. It's a sports romance. It's the 4th book in a series. They're all interconnected, so you don't have to read them all in order, but really enjoyed that one. It was also Grumpy Sunshine / friends, second chance romance as well. Sort of friends, not enemies, to then friends again, then lovers. The next book that I read that was a new release was The Right Move, which was another sports romance. It's a second book in a series. This one was a forced proximity best friend's brother book where he's a professional athlete, she's a flight attendant. Really good book as well. The next new release that I read was The Temporary Wife by Catherine Amara, which was another Marriage of Convenience book. Second book in that series, was also very good. Then I went on a little bit of a kind of Sapphic Romance binge. I read 3 books by Anna Rose, Tangled Vows, In Strands Hearts, and Forever Theirs. Those 3 were also very good books. The first, Tangled Vows, was a Marriage of Convenience book. Strange Hearts was boss employee. And then Forever Theirs was a polyamorous relationship. All of those 3 books, Sapphic Romances, are lesbian romances, so if you're interested in reading those, I definitely recommend Anna Rose. She is like one of the best Sapphic romance authors. And then I also read Off to the Races by Elise, forget her last name, I'm so sorry. Elise Silver, that's her last name. It's a small town romance. She's been all over TikTok recently with a new series that she recently released. This was the first book of hers that I read and I did enjoy it, so I'll probably jump into more of her books in the future. And then the last book that I actually read one more, Fractured Freedom, which was a mafia romance. It was probably, out of all of the books I read this month, probably my least favorite. It was still very good, but I would say that it was probably my least favorite. And then the last book that I read was Zodiac Academy, The Awakening, which was also very good. It's another series that is all over TikTok, and that kind of leads me into my March TBR. For the month of March, I'm going to try and read the entire Zodiac Academy series and kind of the prequel and kind of second, the like future state book. So Zodiac Academy is a total of, I think, 8 books, and then it has a 9th book, which is like the retelling of the first book, this book, The Awakening, but told by the boys. And then there's a couple of novellas as well. And then there's Darkmoor Penitentiary, which is the like second part of the series that is not connected to Zodiac Academy. And then there is also a 4-book prequel to Zodiac Academy that I have not started yet because there is like a very specific reading order to how to read these books. So kind of went on TikTok for like a binge for like over an hour trying to figure out the best way to read this series. And so it's kind of like reading a chunk of Zodiac Academy and then going to the prequel and then going back to Zodiac Academy and then reading the novellas and then finishing out the series with the kind of like end 5 years later series. So I will link all of the books that I read down below so you guys can check them out if you're interested, as well as the Zodiac Academy kind of just series in a general sense, because again, it is a pretty vast, pretty big series. But yeah, so if you want to check them out, feel free. Let me know down in the comments if there were any books in the month of February that you read that you really, really enjoyed and you would recommend to anyone. But I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see you all in the next video.